Have you ever had a disagreement with your daughter or mother and wondered why something so fundamentally loving could be so difficult? Why do some words hurt more deeply, misunderstandings appear to repeat, or intimacy feels like both a gift and a burden? Yogananda provided a spiritual prism through which we might begin to comprehend this. The relationship between mother and daughter is never arbitrary. It arises from karma, soul decision, and a sacred bargain established long before birth. You did not become a mother or daughter by chance. Something deeper was moving. A soul-level strategy was emerging. And when we recognize this link as karmic and spiritual rather than emotional or biological, everything changes. What about the friction? It may not be a failure. It may be exactly what your soul has agreed to face. According to Yogananda's teachings, the soul selects its family based on vibration, a tug of unfinished energy, previous lessons and deep needs, rather than reasoning. A daughter may select a mother not because she is flawless, but because her presence evokes a need for healing. The mother too receives a kid whose presence awakens long-forgotten wounds and strengths. So, when we speak of a hidden bargain, we mean that your souls once stood in a higher place and said, "Let us meet again. Let's attempt to grow together, even if it's difficult." In this light, what was once perceived as personal failure might be reframed as sacred purpose. Pain has significance. Challenges are messages. Gradually, a deeper harmony might emerge. But here's the part that most people miss. Soul contracts aren't always peaceful. They are often intense because the spirit is not looking for consolation. It wants to grow. And growth rarely occurs without being stretched. As a daughter, you may have inherited your mother's worries, anxiety and quiet, not via nurture, but through karma. As a mother, you may discover that your daughter is reawakening pieces of yourself that you thought you had long forgotten. This isn't punishment. It's a reflection. The cosmos is holding up a mirror, revealing what was before hidden. What if your child is revealing your own unhealed story? And what if your mother, despite her flaws, was carrying the sorrow of a history she couldn't yet identify? When we handle these situations with compassion rather than blame, something begins to change. Yogananda stated that unpleasant feelings between souls result in binding energy. If a woman has resentment for her own mother, that energy does not simply vanish. It frequently continues into the next relationship where the daughter begins to repeat the same patterns. This isn't fate. It is an opportunity, a karmic thread that has to be untangled, not tightened. Every confrontation presents an opportunity to transform rather than win. The daughter can learn to forgive herself for something she did not do. The mother can learn to console a part of herself that previously seemed invisible. They can unleash what neither of them made, but which they both bear. There's a reason why mother-daughter relationships are so emotionally fraught. The link is ancient. You've probably known each other previously. In one life, the daughter may have become the mother. In another, they could have strolled as sisters or even adversaries. Karma draws souls back into each other's orbit until harmony is achieved. But this peace does not come from pretending. It comes from confronting the echoes that emerge and deciding to respond differently. Your reactions are important. Every time you choose to halt instead of lash out, to soften rather than harden, you alter the energy of that karmic tie. The thread slowly and gently loosens. But what about those occasions when it seems impossible? When the gap is too big, the scars too deep, and the past too heavy? Yogananda frequently spoke about the power of grace, stating that the loving presence of the Divine Mother exists beyond karma and cause-effect. She is the element of God who forgives instantaneously, loves unconditionally, and heals without explanation. This holy force can flow through the mother-daughter link if it is invited. Through prayer, devotion, or even a single honest breath, you can open the door to help that the intellect cannot comprehend. It is not about being perfect, it's all about willingness. Willing to offer light where there has been quiet. willing to see not only the person, but the soul. One of the most wonderful rituals Yogananda taught was the peace and harmony prayer. It's so basic but so profound. If there is any tension between you and your mother or daughter, close your eyes, breathe gently, and imagine them surrounded by golden light. Then mentally repeat, Lord, fill her with peace and harmony, peace and harmony, peace and harmony for 1 minute. Then see yourself in the same light and say, Lord, fill me with peace and harmony. This simple exercise begins to eliminate energetic barriers. It does not force change. It invites it gradually and quietly, as if the sun were warming a frozen plain. When done consistently, even the most hardened hearts begin to soften. Not often overnight, but energy transforms. Conversations start to alter. A gaze becomes gentler, a word less harsh. The karmic wheel begins to turn in a different direction, not through force, but through intention. You may still encounter misunderstandings, but from a different perspective, a quieter one. And from there, true forgiveness can arise, not just for them, but also for you. Yogananda claimed that forgiveness is more powerful than vengeance. And in mother-daughter reconciliation, this reality is sacred. Forgiveness does not imply pretending it never hurt. It means choosing love over resentment. It means recognizing that you are both continually learning, growing, and unraveling stories from long before this life. When you forgive, you break the old cycle. You prevent it from continuing and make room for something new to be written, something kinder, something freer. You're not alone in this. Many women bear the burden of unacknowledged pain throughout generations, but there is hope. You do not have to carry it all. You simply need to begin, one breath at a time, one prayer at a time. Even sitting in solitude and seeking peace for your mother or daughter begins the healing process. Because even if the other person does not change, you do. Your energy is becoming clearer. Your soul is expanding. And sometimes the most effective healing is stillness. It occurs not in large apologies or spectacular events, but rather little inner adjustments. The moment you choose patience over sarcasm, when you listen instead of correcting, when you offer a gentle word where you might have turned away. These are the seeds for new karma. These are the beginnings of peace. And they're more important than you realize. Eventually, the previously terrible friction begins to soften. You begin to regard the child or mother as a participant in your journey rather than a burden. You remember that love exists behind the roles and wounds. A love so old and persistent that it chose to return, try again, and heal again. With this recognition, you begin to recover your authority. Not the power to govern, but the ability to love wisely, forgive freely, and move on with compassion. Here's the deeper reality. Every action you take to mend this link benefits more than just you. It blesses your descendants, the children who will follow you, the patterns they will not have to carry, and the serenity they will inherit. When one soul decides to break the cycle, the entire family starts to breathe anew. This is how generational healing starts. Not in great gestures, but rather in simple, sacred choices. So, if you've battled in this relationship, know this: you're not failing, you are awakened. The soul contract between mother and daughter does not require perfection. It's about evolution, about learning to look beyond the surface, about seeing the divine reflection in one another. And when you do, really do, the bond changes. Finally, love exists behind every harsh word, misunderstanding, and agonizing silence. And that love is waiting to be recognized and seen again, not through pain, but through kindness. Because your daughter is more than just your child. Your mother is not simply your parent. You serve as each other's teachers, reflectors, and perhaps most importantly, healers. Thank you for making this area available today. If this message impacted your heart, I encourage you to stay in touch. Subscribe to Divine Beyond to receive weekly spiritual counsel. Please like this video so that it can reach others who are on the same journey. And if you're ready, provide your thoughts in the comments. What lessons has your mother-daughter relationship taught you thus far? We develop through reflection. We grow together.